So barely fitting in frame here, we have the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett figure on throne. So this is quite the piece here. I was only interested because of the throne, but let's see how that Boba Fett looks as well. Uh, Bandai Tamashii hasn't really been pushing Star Wars SH Figuarts anymore, not like they used to. They used to pump out a lot of Star Wars SH Figuarts, and that line pretty much died, and now they're just cherry picking, basically just releasing Mandalorian and Boba Fett now at this point. So it's a little sad, but you know, at the same time, I think the Black Series is just much more affordable, and it ultimately won and beat them out. So this piece actually retailed for about $112 shipped. So that's with shipping. Without the shipping, it was probably, I don't even know what it was. Alright, so it was $80 without the shipping, and then with the shipping, it came out to be $111 for me, shipped from Japan. So not bad, honestly. At 80 bucks, that's 40 bucks per piece if you count the throne and him himself. He comes with head sculpts as well, so I'm kind of impressed at the price. I think a couple years ago this would have been like $150 or 200 possibly. This ended up being a regular release, and that's why, and that's surprising as well, because it's not a web exclusive, and that's basically what made these things so expensive. They used to release a lot of web exclusives. But anyways, let's go ahead and crack this thing open and check it out. So as someone who missed out on the original Boba Fett release from Figuarts that came from the Mandalorian Season 2 release, this is a perfect opportunity for me to grab this figure, because I remember that figure came out and went so fast. I believe it might have been a web exclusive. I just don't know why it sold out so quick. It might have been a regular release. I don't know. But I tried to get that figure, and then at the time, it had sold out, and everybody was asking for like $150 for that one figure. So when they offered this version with the throne for $100 or for $80 plus shipping, then obviously I had to jump all over it, and I did. And I'm happy because this actually comes with the design of the suit towards the final of the show. This one is specifically for the Book of Boba Fett, while that other release was for the Mandalorian Season 2. So this one has the attire or the design that I prefer. I like this design better with the the non-baggy pants, the Tuscan pants that he had worn in Mando Season 2. He stopped wearing that in the end of the Book of Boba Fett season. So I think that's, pretty cool. That's a win-win for me there. And then, of course, this came with the alternate unmasked head sculpts, which I don't believe the original one came with. So that's cool. We'll take a closer look at those and what else he comes with. Alright, so here's that head sculpt up close, and you can kind of make out the Tamura Morrison likeness there. It's not terrible. It's not perfect, but it's actually pretty darn good. It's not bad. I thought it'd be worse. I feel like it needs a little bit of shading, maybe. I don't know what's missing. It seems like it's a little too bright and glowing. But it looks good. He comes with two, so this one right here doesn't have a neck piece. You gotta, use the same neck piece for both. But this is the more angrier or more like, let's say, battle active, unmasked Boba Fett right there. But that looks great. Happy about that. Normally, I'm not a big fan of the SH Figuarts human head sculpts that they do for Marvel or Star Wars, but that one's pretty decent. Here's his, of course, jetpack right here. We have a removable top here because, of course, he comes with some effects, which is awesome. So you can plug in this effect right here and have him shooting out the missile from the top of his jetpack, which is pretty dope. So I like that feature. And then also you can remove these bottom pieces here at the bottom of his jetpack because you can attach the thrusters. So that's a whole different piece right here. And you just attach it here on the side. And then you'll have him flying up once you get both sides going there. So that's hella cool. I like that. He, of course, comes with his Tuscan gaffy stick here. Pretty cool. It does separate in the middle so you can have him grip it. That way you can slide his hands in there without having to get through that part or this part. So it looks great. The paint apps, the sculpt looks wonderful on that gaffy stick. So I'm happy about that. And then we have, of course, the iconic blaster rifle of Boba Fett painted. Pretty good. I like it. And then we have his pistol blaster right here. He has one holstered in right now as we speak, and of course Tamashii Nations always does this where if you want it unholstered, there's a whole entirely separate piece of an unholstered gun right there, so you can detach that and attach the new one. Now as for hands, We have the pair of fists on the figure right now, as you see right here. Then we get some open grabby hands, some open non-grabby hands, some pointing finger hands, or these could serve as trigger finger hands or holding the weapon hand. And then we have some gripping hands for the gaffy stick right there. So that's cool. Alright, so Boba on his back has a molded piece here, and to attach his jetpack, you have to remove the entire back plate like that. Alright, so once you get the back piece off, what you have to do is actually poke out those silver parts there. That's going to make your peg holes. So I guess I'm going to poke them out like this. There you go. So that came right out. Then we'll get the other one. Very small pieces that you can you can easily lose, so I would, of course, be careful with that. Alright, so that's done. I'm going to reattach it there. Now you got the peg holes, and now you can slide in his jetpack through those peg holes. Boom. Just like that, you hear the click, and it's not going to go anywhere. Now you're good to go. Alright, so here's a close look at our Boba Fett. You can see all the beautiful details. The paint apps are just fantastic on this figure. All the printing, look at the Mandalorian logo there, the sigil or whatever you want to call it. But all of the battle damage paint chips and all this looks great. I love it. They always do a great job with their Mandalorians. So really have no issue when it comes to Tamashii making Mandalorians, and they just do a fantastic job with masked characters. But he does have a soft goods back piece here for that Tuscan skirt, and that's about it. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. The paint apps, the detail, is just great. We got some shading on the boots there. Very, very nice looking figure overall. Probably the best one. I think it's better than the original one, even though I don't have the Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fett. I think it's better. Now he does have this collar piece here, which I think he wears, but it does hinder his movement of his head. I mean, he still looks up a little bit, looks down, not really. So I don't know. If you want to pop this off, let's see. You can take it off. Let's put this back on and see how he looks like without it. He looks a little silly. Looks like he's got a long neck, so maybe he's just not gonna look good with that on. But that is an option if you don't want that neck piece, and you can allow him to tilt his head down. Maybe you can hide the neck there at certain angles, make it look somewhat decent. Alright, so here he is with his unmasked head. This is the normal neutral head. I don't know, not a fan of it. His expression just seems a little but maybe that's how he looks, right? The likeness is okay, like I mentioned earlier. Of course, I did put the collar back on because I just feel like it makes it seem a little bit more natural. The neck seems a little long without it. And then here he is with that alternate face expression, which I like a little more than the other one. I think that's better. You can get him in like an action pose, fighting pose there with some stormtroopers, and that'll look great with the gaffy stick. There's a quick pose with the other head, of course, which is the helmet. You can have him hold the helmet, and it looks good like that. Alright, so as for the articulation of the figure, the head is a little bit more mobile when you have the unmasked head. So his head will look up pretty good, and he does look down a lot better than he did with the helmet, as you saw, as I showed earlier with the helmet on. Left and right, pops off, but there you go, left and right, head tilting. So a lot more range of motion for the head with the unmasked head, of course. Arms, we have this little shoulder socket pliable plastic here to cover the massive hole or cavity that would leave in there once you stretch out the arm, because he does have butterfly joints, so that's cool, but it's covered by that pliable plastic, so it goes in and out there. Arms will go in and out this way, forward and back, all the way up. There is a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. We have these nice pliable wires here connected to his elbow and his forearm right there, which is super pliable, so no issues there in articulating the arm. All jointed hinge on the wrist. As for the torso, we have a lower diaphragm joint on the torso, so it does crunch a little bit and goes left and right and tilts just a little bit. As for his chubbiness, not really as chubby as I remembered, but he does have some thickness to him. He's not super slim either, so I think it's okay. There is, of course, the waist swivel, the legs, the 3.0 legs or the 2.0 legs. I lose track, but there's the kick forward. We do have the holster. It doesn't really hinder it, so that's good. Back down, in and out, about this far. It doesn't drop down, so about that far for the in and out. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees there that bend at a 90-degree bend. This one bends a little bit more. And then we have the ankle hinge, forward and back, ankle rocker, swivel, and then the toe hinge at the foot right there. Alright, so as for the throne piece, it's pretty big, it's pretty nice. It is hollow, it doesn't feel super heavy or weighty, but it doesn't feel cheap either. We do get some nice paint details on there. We do get some black wash on it, which is pretty nice to see. If I could get it to focus, you could see as well. You can see all that black there. I dig it. I really dig it. You can see all of that black wash. So that looks great. The bottom of the base even has some too. There's the other side. But on the front side, you can see the rancors on each side has some detail as well. We have like that blue corrosion or whatever that is going on there on that brass or that copper. So that's pretty dope. And then there's the seat right there in the middle. So overall, I dig it. It looks great. I mean, I really have no complaints on this thing. I love the detail. I love the sculpt. You can see that it looks like it's made of like stone or something. So very, very nice. So sitting down on the throne is ultimately how I'm going to display this figure. This is just a quick sit down here with the unmasked head sculpt. Didn't really try too hard. I'm not happy with this pose, but you can see that he sits just fine. You don't have any issues with his leg articulation in sitting. So they made sure that you're able to actually do what he's meant to do in this release here. So super happy with this, because this is pretty much how I'm going to display this Boba Fett, is on the throne. Because how could you not? How could you get this version and not sit him on the throne? Now, I don't think Bandai Tamashii is going to make a Fennec Shand. I don't think they've teased it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm going to have to go out and buy the Black Series version, because I know that one's very good. I just don't know if it's going to scale well with this Boba Fett. I'm going to have to grab her. I never got her, and now I have to get her because of this release right here. Alright, so here he is next to what's been my favorite Boba Fett in my collection for the longest time. This is the Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett from SH Figuarts, and I feel like this is the best Boba Fett out there, better than any Black Series version or anything like that. But here he is compared to the Figuarts Book of Boba Fett here on the left side. You can see how great they both look, but nothing beats that old, nostalgic, classic look for sure. Alright, so when he met Mando, he was in his Beskar armor. So here he is with Beskar Mando SH Figuarts, and he does stand a little bit taller than Boba Fett right there. I don't know if that's accurate or not. You guys let me know down below, but I think they both look pretty good. Alright, so that will conclude my review of the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Book of Boba Fett on Throne figure deluxe. Overall, I gotta say, this is a fun release. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I anticipated, and I'm really happy I picked this thing up. Very cool that they did this deluxe release with the throne, and I think it's a good value. I expected this to be a lot more overpriced than what it was, and for any fan of Boba Fett, and if you want this throne right here, you know, you gotta pick this one up. I don't know if Hasbro's gonna release one. If they do, I don't know if it'll be as good as this one. It could be as good or it could be worse. I don't know, but we'll see if that time comes. But for now, this is a great release. And, you know, I got nothing but good things to say about this figure right here in this throne. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, guys, take care, take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.